Hey everybody, Silver Spalding here. I just saw my brother's post in our younger brother's basement. Seven, the hospital, the whole social worker and the doctor told me that Seven was being released from the hospital. Seven refused to go to sober living. They wanted him to go to sober living. My brother needs to get sober. He was very, 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 very intoxicated the morning he was evicted. Yes, the damage, the injuries to his head were very bad. My brother told me yesterday that the hospital said that he was okay and that he was being discharged from the hospital. At first, my brother said that they were going to run tests, and then my brother called me and said that they weren't running the tests because he doesn't have insurance. So I don't know what he's saying, why he's saying that he wants to go back to the hospital so they can run tests. If you don't have insurance and you tell me that the hospital is making you leave and they're not going to run the tests because you don't have insurance, why are you going to go back to the hospital for them to run tests? I don't know. Anyway, yeah, so they wanted him to go to sober living. He refused to go. He'd have a roof over his head. His car's in my driveway. I've got his keys. I don't know why he hasn't come to get it yet. Please, if anybody's watching, be careful sending him money. He hasn't had anything to drink in 4 days, and he's not sober. He's not cured from his alcoholism. I'm scared to death for him. I put his keys under his car in my driveway. He just needs to come and get it, and I'm going to pray for him and everybody else on the road. As soon as that man gets money in his hands, he's going to go get alcohol. He's going to be drinking and driving. I'm scared to death for him. If you all can send him, send him, I don't know, a gift card to Kroger's or something. Don't send him money, but I know you're going to, so fuck it. My brother's 52 years old. He's a grown man. The doctors and the nurses and the social worker and the case manager at UC said, he's grown. He's going to do what he wants to do. He doesn't want to get help. He doesn't want to go to sober living and the condition that my brother was in the morning he was evicted, because he called me and I ran over there to try to save some of his belongings. I couldn't move his stuff back and forth all day. I got to take care of my mom. This is like his third or fourth eviction. This is just crazy. He can't come here. I even offered. I was like, Seven, if you get yourself into a program and get sober, we can talk about you moving into our basement for a little bit. We got a fucking finished basement. As you all know from Seven's videos. That was the only way I was going to let him in here. If he was sober. But he refused help. And he got an attitude with me because I was, communicating with the doctors and the social workers and the case manager because my brother needs help. The injuries to his head were really bad. And he was telling all the doctors he just ran into a wall in his apartment. It looked like he got his ass kicked or fell off of his balcony. Something. So my brother refused help. videos, he was saying that he was going back to the hospital tonight. But if he doesn't have insurance, why would he go back to the hospital and why would they do the tests on him? I don't know. There's some dishonesty and deceitfulness, and I have no idea what's going on. All I know is my brother was evicted. He knew 30 days ago that he was being evicted. He could have, borrowed the money to put his stuff in a storage unit, but he has nothing except what I could shove in his car. Clothing and a few other things. Boxes of paperwork. But to refuse going to sober living, refusing to get healthy so you can think clearly, feel better, that's just horrible, So yeah, I hope the person who's sending him mushrooms, I hope you stop. Well, you don't know. Well, no, he can always give his new address. That sucks, man. Oh my God, whoever's sending him mushrooms, please stop. And I pray any money that he gets from his subs doesn't go towards alcohol. Because my brother was a mess the other day. I didn't recognize him. I walked past him when I was speaking to the sheriffs, when they were standing there and people were bringing his stuff out to the front yard of his building. I didn't even recognize him. He's not going to survive the next wave of whatever he was feeling, whatever he was drinking. It's a cycle. I told the doctors he's in a cycle, It's horrible. And they were going to put him in a sober living situation. He could work, he could come and go, he'd have his own room, He'd have to, it's sober living, he couldn't drink, he has to stay sober, There were probably some rules, curfew, but shit, it would get him feeling better. But he refused help. Can't help somebody who doesn't want help. You all can give him money. And, and I'm going to pray that he doesn't take that money and go buy beer. He hasn't had anything to drink in 5 days. And he doesn't have the withdrawal medicine, the alcohol withdrawal medicine in his system. And so that's going to wear, it's going to dissipate in his blood, and then he's going to crave alcohol again. And I can't have him here. He can't live with me. I don't give a fuck if I've got 5 bedrooms and a finished basement. It doesn't matter. I know what happens when my brother drinks. I know where his mind goes. And I have to protect my mother. I have to protect myself. And I don't want to be around him. I tried to get the doctors to really, really listen about his alcoholism. And they said, we'll try to get him into sober living. So He's going to be sent money, and I'm going to pray for him, and I'm going to pray for everybody out on the roads. And hopefully he can't get his weapons back. Anyway, so that's it. I can't help my brother. I tried to in the hospital. You know. And I was hoping that he would go to sober living because I knew he was safe. He wasn't on the streets, living out of his car, you know, with you all sending him money. And, you know, I'm going to buy food with it. You know, I'm going to pay my car note. I'm going to pay my phone bill. And God knows that man's going to go buy alcohol. You cannot fucking tell me he's not going to. Alcohol fucks with people's pancreas and liver and this, and that, and the other. Fucking A, man. Yeah, my brother can't come here. I don't give a shit how many rooms I have. He cannot come here. How can you do this? How can you recognize that negative circumstances can be transformed into spiritual power and attainment? How can you utilize adversities and obstacles as the path? How can you realize the time has come when you are lying and deceiving and bullying and threatening and turning down crucial help? And being in sober living, my brother was going to be off the streets, and he was going to be held accountable for his life and his health and his mind, body, and spirit. I mean, Jesus.